Hello Captains, today I'm going to be doing an update on long-range turrets and how they can affect, damage and kill Conqueror hulls attacking your base. Last time I had this video was in October last year, so we had a few new turrets since then and a lot of new hulls, and I'm going to be covering all that content today. So during the video I'm going to be showing what specials are good for turrets, each turret, the armors you can use, transformers in different situations. I have a list of outdated turrets that really do nothing but tickle the newest hulls. And then I'm going to talk about the most effective turrets in my opinion. The Glacial, Maxim, Cataclysm Mortar, Deadeye Ballista, Emancipator, brand new turret, Deadeye Executioner and the regular Executioner in this order. So if you're interested in one of these particular turrets, you can skip the video to the point where I talk about it. They will be presented in this order. At the very end, if you just want that, there's a big table showing in nice green, yellow, red, color-coded which turrets can kill which hulls. That's the summary I keep handy when deciding what kind of turrets my base needs, if a certain hull is getting in, or if I'm attacking a base, which kind of hull will be more effective against that base based on the turrets I see. Okay, of course, then you gotta take guard into account, but I'm just talking turrets today. So let's get down. My usual disclaimer before we start, the game is complex, the game has many options, many armors, many specials, and there are multiple combinations one can make. The setups I'll recommend here are all based on my experience from my own base, from talking to alliance mates and on the page. It doesn't mean they're going to work on any base the way I set them up. Just use that as a reference point. You learn something about how the game works, what the specials do for the turret, and then adapt that to your base. Use base parts. If you can keep up with base parts, that means you can adjust your turrets almost instantly whenever you need that. You can react real fast to new releases of new hulls, new weapons, new combos that can get in your base, and you can just adapt real fast now. That plus the structure tokens from FM. If you don't want to see turret by turret, again, go to the end of the video. I have a table there showing what kills what hurts what. Maybe that's all you need. Quick summary of turret bases, just the last 5 levels. The maximum level today is level 8. That's what's changed since my last video. It has twice the power. Same armor slots as level 7, 1 extra special slot, and a lot more base armor, like 1.2 million armor points. Still 1 transformer slot, but this turret comes with 30% resistance against ballistic, explosive, penetrative, and radioactive damage. So it's very hard to kill if you're not using a recent Conqueror fleet from late 2016 onwards. This is my list of turrets that are outdated. I don't think it's worth having them in your base unless you're like maybe level 20, level 30. But as soon as you hit level 50 and it's open game, I mean, none of these turrets will really help you. Some of them have decent damage still, like the Cataclysm Mortar or the Javelin, but they lack range or it takes them too long to hit. I mean, anyways, they're not effective anymore. So that's why I won't be talking about them. First turret, the Glacial. The Glacial launcher is listed here as a long-range turret. It has a range of 131, so it's more like mid-ranged. You can use the ATR special to increase range to 140. As you see here on the top right, that's a setup with range transformer. Bottom right, same. On the top right here is a level 7 turret, only 2 specials, and I recommend these 2: Eruption Pyre and Xinthium Shells for faster projectile speed. If you have a third special, we now have the Atomic Focus that increases damage, and I use it on my damage calculation here. I'm not going to read everything, but you can see how the turret has its damage divided by 20 salvo. So each hit after siege battery deals the damage you see here on the third column. So even if you have a few fire support fields and AT transformer and atomic focus, you can get it up to nearly 4,000 damage after siege battery. So then after that, you got to discount deflection. And I have that listed on the right-hand side here, showing which holes have no radioactive deflection or some radioactive deflection. But in the end, the Glacial Turret main function is not to do damage. It does, but it's actually to slow down attackers through the ice fields, slow down resistance, slow down fire rate, so the other parts of your base defense can deal damage to ships affected by the Glacial Launcher turret. In terms of damage, I mean, at least what damage can be dealt here, but just remember we have radioactive plates in the game, so all it takes is one radioactive plate, 4. It gives you 5,000 radioactive deflection, and then all of this damage here is useless. Okay, except for the minimum damage that passes through in any case. I'm running the setup here on the bottom right on my turret right now. That's been working well in my base. The Maxim Gun turret, it's a very long range concussive turret. Has a salvo of 5, starts firing slowly, but then has the wind up effect. So if it keeps firing at you, it's just gonna fire non-stop real fast. And even if it's only doing minimum damage, it can actually add up if you have a whole bunch of them in your base. It's not a high damage turret. You see, even after 4 fire support, 2 fields, and AT transformer, and expensive concussive charge, that's special here. It's still a low damage per salvo turret. Okay, it can hurt some of the tier 5 Conquerors. It can hurt the Oppressor, which is a long range mortar, so that turret is actually can be effective in killing Oppressor, or at least forcing them to move, right? Same with the Vendetta, but it's pretty much useless against most Conquerors, especially most of the new ones like the Liberator, the Pride, Sloth, Survivor. None of them can actually be hurt by this turret. There's a setup here with AT Transformer, expensive, concussive, and then you can choose for either some extra splash and a lot faster projectile speed, or double the splash and no projectile speed, no extra projectile speed. Okay, but it's still pretty fast, so I like the setup here on the bottom left. The Cat Mortar. The Cat Mortar is an interesting turret because it's actually like a 2-in-1 turret. It's an explosive turret, but has a very high radioactive damage too, so it kind of works as both. So I've listed here how it can damage ships either through its explosive damage that starts at 24,000, or its radioactive damage that starts at 6,000. When you add Eruption Pyre for more reload, Fuel Tank, O1X, and Atomic Focus to buff the radioactive damage, then some Transformers and some fuel ammunition 2 fields and some fire support 2 fields. Like my turrets are set up this way. You can see here on the top left. It actually gets to over 20,000 explosive damage per fireball, per salvo, and almost 3,000 radioactive damage on the same fireball. So that can hit most turrets here, as you can see. And Survivor is interesting now, the brand new hull, because it adds up deflection as you add more hulls to the fleet. So it depends how many you have as to how resistant they'll be to Cat Mortars. Some ships are pretty much immune to it, so the Pride, the Liberator, a Submerged Glutton, you won't take any damage. And if you want to counter the radioactive damage, all you gotta do is put a red 4 plate again. Even a red 3 plate will do, except for the minimum damage. But still is a very, very effective turret. It's one of my favorite turrets in base right now. You can fit that on a level 7 turret if you do it like this. Choose solar panels and a few of these solar armors. That should be enough for you to fit a Cat Mortar without Transformer, without any special. So you get the basic damage here until you upgrade. The Deadeye Ballista, I thought a little bit before putting this turret here because some people could say it's already outdated. I still like that it fires every 3 seconds or faster with fire support. So it's non-stop ballistic fire, and a lot of hulls have no ballistic deflection, even some of the newer ones. So I think having this turret with a massive range of 248 firing non-stop, it at very least forces the attacker to keep moving, because as they move, the ballista misses. But if they don't, like let's say they have vendettas and they're not moving their vendettas, they will be damaged. Same with the Survivor brand new hull or the Retribution. I mean, the moment you stop or you try to beach, that turret will still do a lot of damage, and I like the range a lot. Okay, there are no countermeasures, no armors that can nullify it. The best counter against the Deadeye Ballista is keep moving, right? Like I said, the damage is low. If you add the EM Rayo 3 for critical hits, it gets decent. It can get almost up to 5,000 when you get a critical hit out. And by having it firing every few seconds now with the new special, the BRS, instead of the depleted uranium shells, just put the new one, and the ballistic recoil suppressor, and you can get, the reload 35% faster, and with a 25% of chance of critical hits, you're going to be getting a lot of them before the turret dies. Okay, so I still have one in my base and I intend to keep it there. I just replaced the DUS with the BRS special, and I use the setup here on the left. New shiny turret, the Emancipator, just released yesterday. It's sort of a mid-range turret. I put 2 in my base using base parts and tokens already. It packs a punch. I mean, it's massive, massive damage. You can see here when you actually get a ballistic critical hit with the EM Rayo 3. So you multiply the base damage by 4 and you add transformers and fire fields and everything. You can get 40,000 damage per salvo on a critical hit. And it has a salvo of 5, so you're going to be getting, a whole bunch of those, and that's after discounting siege battery already. So that's net damage, and all you're gonna have to resist that is deflection. So even the prides, who so far have been immune to cannons, will be hurt big time when this turret gets a critical hit out, right? So as you can see, it hurts almost every single hull available today in the Conqueror class. The only hulls that I'd say are immune to the Emancipator are the Oppressor with 90,000 ballistic deflection, and any submarines like the Gluttony while they are submerged. Okay? But I think a few of those turrets in the base, and you can choose to put this in the channel, you can put that up front in the center island. The range is not great, so you have to be smart about where you put it. The other thing I saw, the ballistic recoil suppressor and the EM Rayo 3 use almost all the power available in a level 8 turret. So the only other things I could do was to put an armor special and use the solar panel armor here that uses no power, so whatever extra power this takes times 0, still 0. Okay, if you want to use any other special, like ZU frontline here to get extra reload and extra resistance, then you have to scale down to EM Rayo 2, which is only 15% chance and plus 200% damage. So you gotta make a compromise here, one of these two setups, for instance, or you can use any armor here, any defense special. Okay, you can fit this turret on a level 7 base. Again, if you use all solar panels and all specials and armor slots, you can fit the turret without any transformers or specials. The Deadeye Executioner. I still like the turret. I know a lot of players are getting rid of them all. Their damage is not great. They can still hurt a lot of different ships in game, but they're not a killer. The good thing is, when you get it well covered by fire support, and if you have a few of them, like I have 4 or 5 in my base, each one of them firing 3 salvos, and each salvo is packing 4,000, 5,000 damage here. That adds up, 5 turrets, it's 15 salvos per round, each one of them packing 4,000 damage. So over time, it can kill a lot of ships if you don't have the right tank. The thing is, your deflection, so all those ships that show up here as vulnerable to this turret, can become a lot more resistant if you add pen plates. So pen plate 4 gives you 2500 extra penetrative deflection. So if you put a few, I mean, like I say here, any Conqueror with 2 times pen plate 6 becomes immune to this turret, no matter where they are. I mean, you get one of them, like your oppressor has 0, you put 2 pen 6 plates, it's enough that it's now only taking minimum damage from this turret, or close to it. Okay. There are 2 setups you can run. One of them uses the SSKP special. This one gives more accuracy and more reload. I prefer using the frontline platform MC because it gives you extra 25% damage. Okay, that's an old special. I don't know how many people remember it, but I use this guy, Thermo 3 and frontline M with an AT transformer. Okay, and then not in my table, but you can add the 20% bonus if you choose the Legion faction. It's still very effective, and what I like is that it has a super long range. Then there's the regular Executioner, which is not a limited turret, has a lower range of 182, which can be extended with the Frontline AM or Smart Warhead special. You know, same setup with AT or SSKP. It fits well on a level 7 turret. This one, the good thing is it does a lot more damage than the Deadeye Executioner. So the regular version deals more damage than the limited version. You know, the only difference here, the main difference is range. You lose range here. And without the right special, it doesn't hit submarines. Okay, so you gotta find a special that has retargetable true. So this one can hit submerged submarines. The Deadeye Executioner can do that naturally. This one needs a special. It can beat a lot of ships. I mean, even 4 Prides will not be enough without the pen plate, will not have enough deflection to counter this turret setup right. Okay, so it's a good interesting option if you're looking for more damage, lower range. And finally, here's my summary. So I put the stable together. You can see all Conqueror hulls tier 5 and tier 6 released to date. All the long range turrets I discussed. This table considers their setup for maximum damage, and it does not include the faction bonuses, which would be another 20% damage. So could change this table, making some places where you see a yellow box here could become green with the faction bonus. So I'm not going to read one by one. That's just a quick reference guide. And I'd like to call your attention to the bottom here, which are strategies to counter each turret. So for instance, the Glacial damages a lot of ships, but can be countered by radioactive plates. Splash can be reduced by using warp plates. If your ship has field resistance, it will be less effective. If your ship has resonance, it will actually gain bonuses from the fields. And if you're fast, you can outrun the projectile, so it won't hit you in full either. So very easy to counter. On the other hand, you have the new Emancipator that damages most ships. Okay, and the only thing I know can counter it for sure is evade. It has 100% accuracy, but a high evade ship could cause it to miss a lot, and it has no splash. I still need to test to see if its speed can outrun. I think it's dumbfire, but I have to double check on that one. Okay, but anyways, try to choose a mix. For instance, here you can see, you know, like the Cat Mortar is very good on the explosive and decent on radioactive. So let's say a mix of Cat Mortars and Emancipators would hurt mostly all ships. Okay, so that's potentially a good damage, plus 1 Glacial. Okay, so if you have 1 Glacial, a few Cats, a few Emancipators, that could be a deadly combo to have in your base. Hope that was useful, informative. If you agree with me, please hit like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your Alliance team so they can also benefit from that and improve their bases. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.